It's been nearly 2 months since the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, and clearly Russia remains as defiant as ever. It successfully test-fired a new intercontinental ballistic missile, and emboldened by this, the Russian President Vladimir Putin used the moment to further warn the West of frenzied, aggressive rhetoric to threaten Russia.
On 20th April, Russia test-launched its intercontinental ballistic missile, Sarmat, believed to be adding more power to its nuclear arsenal. US Congressional Research Service claimed that Russia is expected to deploy Sarmat with 10 or more warheads on each missile.
Dear comrades, I congratulate you on the successful test firing of the Sarmat intercontinental ballistic missile. This is a big significant event in the development of advanced weapon systems for the Russian army. The new system has the highest tactical and technical characteristics and is able to overcome all the missile defense capabilities.
The heavy intercontinental ballistic missile Sarmat has been under development for years now. Its test launch at this crucial juncture of war is an ominous sign, and the Russian president is well aware of it.
It will have no equivalents in the world for a long time. This truly unique weapon will enhance the military potential of our armed forces and will reliably provide security for Russia from external threats and will make others who, in the heat of frantic, aggressive rhetoric, try to threaten our country, think twice.
The intercontinental ballistic missile was test-launched from Plesetsk in northwest Russia and hit targets in the Kamchatka Peninsula in the Far East. Bureau Report, India Today.
Amid the ongoing war in Ukraine, one of the world's most respected Russia watchers, Harvard professor Ravi Abdelal, in a special conversation with India Today, asserted that a tactical nuclear strike is still very much a possibility. His words come just a day after Russia's foreign minister, in his only interview so far during this war, played down the nuclear threat that's emanated consistently from Moscow.
Tactical nuclear strike is a possibility. Words that will echo through war rooms across the world. Not just random analysis, but the words of one of the world's most respected Russia watchers.
Engage with the world.
Harvard professor Ravi Abdelal, director of Davis Center for Russian and Eurasian Studies, an academic whose views on the world's biggest story is one of the most sought after.
Is not about Russia versus Ukraine, but about Russia versus the West. And for that logic, we need to think about what are the ways in which Russia and NATO could come into direct conflict that could lead to a nuclear exchange between the great powers, as opposed to a single tactical nuclear strike in Ukraine.
Professor Abdelal's world-exclusive interaction with India Today adds ominous urgency to the aura of nuclear threat surrounding Russia and Ukraine. His words come just a day after Russia's foreign minister, in his only interview so far in the war, played down the nuclear threat that has emanated consistently from Moscow.
The Russian military has these hypersonic missiles, which are good at evading missile defense systems. It has thermobaric weapons, the so-called vacuum bombs. As far as we know from the outside, the Russian military has used one of each, probably to demonstrate what they can do, but have not yet escalated to the widespread use of these really terrifying weapons, much less the possibility of a tactical nuclear strike on the territory of Ukraine.
There could be no winners in a nuclear war, and therefore nuclear war must never be launched.
Obviously,
Professor Abdelal is the second top-tier American academic to highlight the nuclear threat emerging from Russia. Last month, Princeton University's Dr. Zia Mia echoed the fear.
This is part of the script of the nuclear age. So nuclear weapon states say this because they can, because they have nuclear weapons.
Away from the nuclear threat, Professor Abdelal also sees Ukraine's current weapon levels as only enough to keep its head above water.
The Ukrainian military, and indeed the Ukrainian civilians who have been waging this counteroffensive against the Russians, have perhaps been armed enough to achieve a kind of stalemate, though not enough to win the war.
More ominously, the Harvard professor predicts the longer the stalemate, the more destructive things could get, with newer weapons entering the combat mix.
But the longer the stalemate lasts, the more likely there will be escalation on the Russian side, using weapons that they have mostly not yet used in ways that will be difficult for the rest of us to watch and horrible for the Ukrainians to endure.
With only some indicators on where the war is headed and what the endgame is, the Harvard guru makes a pronouncement that provides shape to the next steps. That there's little chance of the war winding down soon.
President Putin has gambled his historical legacy on this war, which means that there is no backing down. There will be no end to this war until the Russian president feels that he can narrate some sort of achievement, both militarily and politically, from the war.
On India Today, the most sought-after academic and strategic minds provide their views first, allowing us and you, the viewer, navigate this emerging conflict. With Rahul Kawal in Boston, Bureau Report, India Today.